Hey guys! So today I am finally doing a review of Power Girl Power Trip by Jeff Johns, Justin Gray, Jimmy Palmiotti, Amanda Connors, and Paul Mounts. I originally wanted to do a review of this book last week, I believe, but instead I read Shade and I really love that book, so I couldn't help but skip ahead and do that review. But before I start, I really want to show you guys my shirt. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's a shirt with Adam West in his Batman costume holding an iPhone. And I thought this was the coolest shirt, so I quickly picked it up. Anyways, yeah, so this book I had a few issues with. Just sort of a general backstory. So this book starts off with her really contemplating who she is and her identity. Because as you guys know, and I think I touched upon this when I first got this book, she has a few different origin stories. For example, some people say she's Supergirl's clone, she's from Earth 2, she's from the future. She has a few different origins, and those are really, all of those different storylines are shown in the beginning of this book, and it really causes her to doubt who she is as a superhero and as just a person in general. She's really trying to figure out what her identity is and if this is going to affect her future. So based off of that, and there is a supervillain behind her doubt in that, I don't know if I should give away too many spoilers. I'm not going to. But because of that, it causes her to move. So she moves to New York in this book, and there she's still trying to battle her identity crisis, but she's trying to move forward with her life as well. So she opens Starware Labs, which is her own tech corporation, and you see her slowly building up this foundation and trying to help the world in other ways besides just being a superhero. And it sort of chronicles out, and she does fight a lot of different villains, like Ultra Humanite, and there's also another character who I didn't know about, who's Ultra Humanite's sort of lackey or partner in crime, I suppose, but her name's Satana with an S. I've never heard of her before, but when I saw her name I thought that was pretty funny. And there's also, she also deals with a lot of more ordinary things like moving, finding a new apartment, her cat, who's probably my favorite character in this entire book. You can see him on the front over here, and he has a few like cameos, I guess, or spotlights, where she's talking with him here. This was probably one of my favorite pages, just because he's all over it, and it reminded me of my cat Pan. But the main kind of core issue I had with this book was how they addressed her sexuality. I understand she's a very aesthetically awesome character, she has things going on, but the way that they sort of talked about it in this book constantly, every 5 pages they would have to address it in some way, shape, or form. She would be hit on constantly by like the supervillains and by just random people on the streets. She would be changing every 10 pages, actually probably less than that. Every 5 pages, I would say on average, she would be out of her clothes or wearing something different, or her clothes would be ripped off. And for example, if it was a Batman book and he had to run into an alley to do a quick change, they would probably show him running into the alley, and then the next panel he'd be coming out in his costume. But for her, they would go in there and show step by step her changing, like her taking off her shirt, her taking off her pants, her putting on her shirt, her putting on her pants, and things like that. And there's one scene in particular where her and Tara, not Teen Titans Tara, a different Tara, have to rush into an alley and change. And they're changing, and you are seeing not everything, but you see their underwear and all of that. And there's like a guy in the back just watching, and things like that. It just I didn't understand why that was necessary in a book like this. Aren't you trying to portray her in the best light possible? I understand that on some occasions in this book they probably addressed it in a twisted way to, I don't know, overcome these kinds of stigmas, or her being a female superhero, I suppose. But a lot of times I just thought it was too much. Like, you really don't need to be doing it. The way that you guys are bringing up constantly is sort of doing the opposite of what I think your intentions are. Like, for example, one scene, Tara, they had to change, and Tara didn't have her superhero outfit, so she just took off her pants and went in her underwear. And that's, first of all, why would you do that to a fight? I would not just strip down to my underwear and go fight someone. And it's just like the common, I don't know, it's not very smart, it's just unnecessary. I didn't understand why they would have to do something like that. And then even with the super villain, Satana, I should say, she had to do something unnecessary as well, just to like get a weapon or get some powerful guy on her side, and it's just, it wasn't very tasteful in my opinion. If they took those bits out, or at least if they took even half of them out, I would have probably given this book a way better rating. But because it happens so often and it's so unnecessary, it disturbed me in a way. If they took those out and it was just purely the action and seeing her develop as a strong character, not even because she's female, but just as a strong character. She's like setting out to New York by herself, she's starting her own corporation, she's moving for a fresh start, and I think those are all really good foundations, but because they sprinkled these weird situations on top, it threw me off. If it was just her being a strong character, moving on, moving forward, it would have been much, much better, but because they had to put those in, it lowered this book for me. Overall, I mean, the art, the general, like, really underlying storyline were good, and I appreciated those. But because of those situations, it's just whatever. It made it an okay book. So those are my thoughts on this. I know there's probably a lot of people who really enjoyed this book, and I agree with you. The art is awesome. The general storyline is awesome. And I'm sure there's probably a lot of fans who enjoyed those awkward situations way more than I did. But for me personally, it made the book, the standards went a lot lower than I wanted it to be. I have that Harley Quinn book by Amanda Conner and Jimmy Palmiotti, and I really hope they didn't transfer that kind of situational thing over to Harley. I don't imagine so. I know Power Girl's much more of an flamboyant character, I guess, in that kind of aesthetic way. But at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if they did, and I really hope they didn't. I like Power Girl still. I think she's still a really intriguing character, and I do like her multiple backstories. But now I feel like I need to read something else with her in it, like Justice Society, to sort of revamp my image of her now, because there's a lot of times where it's just like, I don't think Power Girl would approve of this, or I don't think Power Girl would actually do something like that. But yeah, those are just sort of my thoughts on it. I'm sure you guys, if you guys think otherwise, feel free to tell me. I'd like to see what you guys thought of this book if you read it. Overall, I did like what was basically going on. It was just those weird things that really threw me off. So yeah, those are my thoughts. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye!